Hi everybody, it's Annette from The Art of Intuition, and today we are going to talk about rushing our ascension process and exactly how we do that, why we do that, and the pitfalls in trying to do that. Now, we will break down our process in kind of multiple stages, all right? We have our pre-awakening, we have our awakening, which some people will call the dark night of the soul, and then we have our ascension process. And our ascension process is the beginning of that process, and then there's kind of even after you've done full body ascension, which can take up to 7 years. That's if you're doing it minimal, I guess I should say, of 7 years, if you're giving it kind of everything you have. And then beyond that, you're still clearing and ascending to new heights as far as your consciousness and different aspects. We get into oversoul consciousness, we get into integrating the 12th dimensional templates. There's a lot beyond even just full body ascension as far as embodying in your soul and living from those aspects, which is really what full body ascension is, but it takes a long time to get there. And that's if we're doing everything we have to get there. And then there's processes beyond that. So I don't want to go too far beyond that because I haven't gotten to a lot of beyond that stuff. So that stuff I can't speak to right now, but I'm sure we'll do videos on it. And then in the upcoming linear years, we will get into some of that stuff. But what happens when we try to rush it? Because we want to be in the next timeline. And I've talked a little bit about this before. I think I did a video similar to this years ago, but now I kind of see it from different places and different spaces, and where I have tried to rush. And when I'm trying to rush through stuff, get stuff done. I mean, I had a big awakening yesterday as far as I was trying to get a lot of stuff done because I am in a reality where it's physically very heavy right now. I'm doing a lot of the heavy lifting around the house. Literally, and I just kind of try to go, and I have the physical energy to do that, move and go and get all this stuff done. And I had something fall on my foot and I thought I broken my foot. Luckily, it's just, I think, spranged, and it felt a lot better today. So I do have it kind of propped up as I do this, and kind of the message I just kept feeling was, you got to slow down a little bit. Or the next one, we're not going to be so nice about the next one. So you might start to see some physical injuries when you are trying to rush through stuff or rush through a process. There is also a part of that where we have to be so present in the moment and watching every little thing we do. And normally I think I'm pretty good at that, watching to make sure I don't have accidents like that. But this was more of just a warning shot, I think, from my universe to slow down on some of the things I've been doing. The more physical stuff, and taking the time to kind of sit around and really integrate in, be with the energy, look at what's going on inside of us, and really be with it. And it's important to be with it and to not try to rush through it, not sugarcoat through it, because the reality you are in now is pivotal to your next one, right? The reality I'm in now is pivotal to my next reality. It might not have been the one I wanted to do right now, but it was pivotal to my next one. It was clearing up different ancestral karma. It was clearing up different blood family relationships. It was clearing up different things that needed to be done. And to once again live with people in a different consciousness. It was very important for me to do this process, even though I wasn't super excited about it. So there is a part where you try to rush through it and you try to get everything done really fast. And we don't really listen to our body, and we don't listen to what comes up. And that's more of what it's trying to show us, what's coming up inside of us that we have to deal with. What's coming up inside of me that I have to look at. What do I feel about that? How do I feel about that? Why am I angry about this? I had something again that happened yesterday. One of my ongoing things I've been working through here, and it triggered me again yesterday when I was actually cleaning my car, and I got so annoyed all over again. And I think part also when we look at a lot of reasons and parts and pieces why things happen. So I'm just outside kind of yelling at myself because we don't project. When we have our stuff come up, we don't project it at anybody else. Unless you're going to project it consciously at a person and telling them, hey, I just need to get this out of my body. It's really important we get it out of our body. We sit with it. We feel it fully, and then get it out of our body and go, okay, what is going on? Why am I still pissed about this? It's another layer of this I got to work through. What's going on here? It's really important to say that what's going on here step. And a lot of times we don't want to do that. We want to push it down. We don't want to deal with it. We want to rush through it, and I would tell you, every timeline I left, I wished I was back in it when it was done, because there was something about that timeline that made it a little bit easier. Like the other timeline I was in prior to this was easier in some ways, harder in other ways, but at the end of the day, it was, there was a lot more alone time I had, and I don't have as much here, so there was definitely a difference there. You know, there were parts of that I'd go back and go, oh, I wish I could go back to that. I wish I hadn't rushed that. I wish I hadn't been so worried about how everything was going to turn out, and trying to force an outcome and force a conclusion. And those are things we will do when we're in them. We want to wrap it up. You know, we want to physically wrap it up, but we haven't energetically wrapped it up. When it's energetically wrapped up, trust me, it'll fade like that. You will get out of shit you thought would take forever and you could never get out of it before, and the minute it's energetically wrapped up, or in other words, your soul is done with it, we're finished, we've completed what we had to complete here, you played your role, there's no more you can do, it will drop so fast out of your life, it'll just completely disintegrate around you in a sense. It'll be over, you know, there'll be no long lingering phase out, it'll just be done because you're energetically done. So look at where you're trying to rush. Look at where you're trying to get to the next thing because you don't like this thing. Look at why you don't like this thing. That's the point of being in the thing. Why are you resisting the timeline you're in? Why are you not looking at it? Why am I not looking at it? You know, that was a big one I had with myself yesterday. And then when I dropped the thing on my foot, I was like, well, now I have to sit down and look at it. Because there was a part of me that just wanted to kind of get certain things done and kind of not even really listening to my body, even the weather in a sense. Like, it might not be the best day to do the thing you want to really do today. What my human really wants to do today, this might not be the best day to do that. Maybe you go do something else and do this tomorrow. So there's so much of that goes on when we are in the middle of these timelines, and we're in the middle of trying to figure these timelines out. And we don't want to feel all this stuff. You know, we don't want to go deep down inside of us to see what's really going on. We want to rush through it, but you cannot rush through it. You know, what happens is your universe injuries is a big one. It's a big one. If you try to rush through it, you could have something happen where you either get knocked down as far as some type of upgrade process, you know, where you don't feel well and you're down for the count, or you could have a physical injury to slow you down, you know, to slow you down to deal with it. Now, every time I do have a physical injury, I always look at, you know, what side of the body is it on? Left side is the past, right side is the future. So I could kind of look, of course, this is on my left side because I'm dealing with a lot of past stuff, and actually a past injury that I had as a kid. I remembered as soon as I hit that foot got hit again. I remember, oh my God, I did this before. And it's also releasing all that trauma. So anytime you have a physical injury, it's releasing the trauma that's still held in that area. Now, the one thing you will have that can help a lot is the more you embody in your soul, the quicker you do heal. So I heal pretty fast now. So it's been a rough 24 hours, but it's definitely a lot better than it was 24 hours ago. But I did make a conscious choice to slow down and pay more attention to what I need to set down and clear, and not try to rush through clearing it. You know, really look at really peeling it back. We don't want to peel it back a lot of times. You know, we want to kind of say, oh no, we don't, it's fine. I don't need to go any deeper here. When we really do, we have to go deeper and deeper and deeper until we kind of get to the end of it. A lot of times we'll set up physical realities to do that. Sometimes we don't have to set up physical realities to do that, but we can do something similar to that. We can do it energetically to work through it. We can just see things that trigger us, kind of minor things. I talked about that a little bit in one of the last videos I did. Sometimes it can be minor little stuff. It doesn't have to be big kind of stuff. It's the little stuff that can get us. But when we're in the middle of this kind of not wanting to be where we are, wanting to get to the next phase, you know, I remember I had a job, I couldn't wait for that thing to end. And I remember I had said, I'm going to ride it to the end. And when it's done, it'll be done. Because I'd spent years trying to just, you know, trying to get it to end quicker. But energetically, it was still a big support. It's a big financial support for me. So there was a part of me that wanted it to end. There's also a part of me that knew this was the last kind of more linear job I was going to have. But when it finally got to the end, and like I said, it'll be quick. You could be trying to dodge something for years and get out of it, and the minute it is energetically done, you're going to be shocked at how fast it goes. It's effortless how fast it goes. And you know, if something's leaving you effortlessly, I can't even say the words, effortlessly, it's just energetically finished and it's done. Now, could you have some remnants of clearing it out months later? Sure. Could you have something that comes up years later where you have a little bit more left? Yes, but the big majority of it had moved out. That was blocking your next timeline. There's a reason we go through the timelines, and this the reason we go through them. It doesn't make linear sense, but it makes sense from a multidimensional level why we have to do this, why this has to clear. You have to clear this big chunk of karma out before you can get to this. You can't have, if this next thing's got to exist in a timeline, it can't exist in this timeline, but you got to work all this out to get to that next thing, that next timeline. But do try to enjoy the one you're in, enjoy the clearing process as much as you can, and get excited about once the stuff clears, once you get it out of your body. Notice what comes up when you have a physical injury. Notice what messaging you get. What side of the body is it on? Is it an injury you've hit before? I've had a couple of those lately where I've hit stuff I have injured before, and I'm kind of clearing out the trauma to that body part, because that can't stay anymore. Your body is going to become cleaner and cleaner and cleaner, and not just because of what you're putting in your body now, but also because of what you're releasing from the body. That is critical. We cannot ignore it. We have to feel it. We have to be with it. We don't want to judge it, and we just want to release it. So I'm going to make this short today. So I think that about covers it. And okay, so listen to what your body's saying. Listen to what your universe is trying to tell you, which is just you. Don't rush it. You really can't. It's like wanting to rush through rush hour traffic, and there's nowhere for you to go but just sit there and be in it. But you try to move one way or the other, and then it can be a more cataclysmic. No, you're going to sit right where you are. And if you're not going to sit right where you are, your universe will make sure you sit right where you are to deal with it. So, okay, keep practicing the art of intuition.